Today, we're diving deep into a social media firestorm that kicked off with just one K-pop performance. But wow, did it ignite a massive conversation about where we draw the line between critiquing an artist and just plain harassing them online. Okay, let's get right into it. This whole story starts with a performance, right? But it spirals into this really fascinating look at fan culture, online pylons, and how messages get twisted and interpreted in the super fast, hyper-connected world of K-pop. So, our story starts right here with the rookie group BABYMONSTER. They hit the stage at the Mama Awards, and their performance pretty much immediately split the internet. People either loved it or they really didn't. And almost instantly, all eyes and all the online chatter zoomed in on one member in particular, Ahyeon. See, she was the one who had to hit all of the performance's big high notes, which basically put her vocals under a massive public microscope. And this is where things really started to take a turn. What started as, typical performance feedback, comments on her technique, her stability, it quickly snowballed into something way more intense. It felt personal, and it definitely felt coordinated. And this is where we get this term that you see pop up all the time in fandoms, a hate train. That's exactly what fans started calling this wave of negativity. This wasn't just a handful of bad reviews. To many, it looked like a targeted campaign to tear her down. And wow, you can really feel the frustration in this fan's comment, can't you? They aren't seeing this as fair criticism at all. They're seeing it as a relentless attack on a young performer who, in their view, is just trying to do her job. So, right when this online drama was hitting its absolute peak, something pretty unexpected happened. Another artist, someone who seemed totally unconnected to the group, jumped into the conversation. Or at least it seemed like she did. And that added a whole new layer to this. And that artist was Ray Ami. You might recognize her voice. She played Zoe in that animated movie Kpop Demon Hunters. Anyway, she posted a couple of messages on her socials that absolutely sent ripples through the K-pop community. So this was her first message. It's a pretty direct call-out of toxic fan behavior, right? Tearing down one artist just to praise your favorite. But here's the key thing. She never mentioned anyone by name. It was a general statement, but the timing made it really hard to ignore. And then she followed up with this, which adds this layer of empathy. She's talking about how scary and difficult it is to be a performer in the public eye, and she's basically pleading for people to just be more positive and supportive. So yeah, Ray Ami never once said the words BABYMONSTER or Ahyeon. But that didn't matter. Online, fans didn't even hesitate. They immediately connected her posts directly to the backlash that Ahyeon was facing at that exact moment. So let's just walk through how they got there, right? It's pretty straightforward. First, you have the intense hate train targeting Ahyeon. Second, you have Rhea Ami posting about that exact kind of negativity. And third, the timing was just perfect. It was happening at the same time. For fans, those pieces clicked together and created this powerful story, an artist defending another artist. And boom, right here you can see that narrative becoming a fact in people's minds. This person isn't saying, I think she's defending her. They're saying the hate has gone so far that she had to step in. This interpretation just gave the whole situation so much more weight. So what's the big deal? Why does this one incident even matter? Well, because it exploded into this much larger and honestly much needed conversation about online fandom. It forced a lot of people to ask some really tough questions about what we're all doing online. Okay, so when you boil it all down, this whole thing really shines a light on a few huge topics. First, the absolutely insane amount of pressure we put on these young idols. Second, just how quickly and powerfully fan communities can create a story. Third, that super blurry, really messy line between fair criticism and actual harassment. And finally, it gave us this little glimpse of what artist solidarity can look like, even if it's not direct. Which brings us to this final, really tricky question. In these huge, passionate online fandoms, where there's no judge or referee, who actually gets to draw that line? Who decides when a critique crosses over and just becomes harassment? And is it even possible for everyone to agree? It's definitely something to think about next time you see a debate like this kicking off online.